Julie with Julie's Designs. Today is another thrift flip video where I take items I thrifted and upcycle them for resale. Today we are in the shop because we are going to be putting feet on different objects. You can take the most ordinary item and stick some cute little spindle feet on it, and it is just like amazing. If y'all haven't seen me do this before, your mind is going to be blown. So cute. And we're going to be, like I said, using spindles. Look at this rack of spindles I have. So you can get these from chairs, from cribs, from wherever, and you take them apart and you have all these amazing pieces to work with. Like you cut it off right here, you have some feet. My favorite is these crib runs because you have a very clear area to cut to get the feet to the same size every time. So I really like these. But we're probably going to use a little bit of all of this because I have so much to work with. Isn't this the most like beautiful sight you've ever seen? So I don't know how many objects we're going to be doing in this video. I'm just going to be grabbing stuff, putting some feet on it, maybe giving it a little paint job, maybe a little stamp. I don't know. We'll just see where this goes. So let's go ahead and get started on these projects. Our first project is going to be this old enamel pan. It's a pretty nice size. I think I paid $4 for it at an estate sale. I've had it for months and haven't put it up for sale yet because I knew I wanted to add feet to it. We're going to use these old chippy amazing spindles that I have. So when I'm cutting up spindles to make feet, I try to find a natural stopping point on the spindle. That way I know all my feet are the same size. Then I take them to my miter saw and just cut them down. The color on these spindles are okay, but there's a lot of white going on, and with this enamel, I think this pop of DIY Apothecary would just look amazing on this feet. So I'm just going to do a very light coat because I do want to distress it back. So I'm pretty much almost dry brushing it on there. I'm not worrying about getting full coverage. I just want to add a little bit of color. And how good does this color look next to white? I think this color looks really good with yellow and with white. And you will see in the end how I style it and exactly why I made this decision. Since I didn't put much paint on the feet, they did not take long at all to dry. Now I'm ready to attach the feet. So I always like to start from the bottom. I just find it's easier to place it exactly where it needs to be. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball where my hole needs to go. I'm going to drill it from the bottom. I am just using a regular drill bit to do this. It did take a minute to get it through the enamel, but it definitely will go through the enamel. So all I'm doing is pulling up each foot and just grabbing my drill and trying to put it right in the center where the leg was. Next, I'm going to take the same drill bit and drill holes in the middle of my legs. This will make attaching the legs to your piece much easier when all your holes are pre-drilled. I'm going to be using this 1.5 inch star top wood screws. I don't know why they don't make all screws with a star top. These screws are so much easier to use and they don't strip down like your other basic screws. So I highly recommend these screws. Okay, this is going to be a little bit hard to show because it was just awkward to hold this round oval thing in place. But I screwed the screw through the enamel pot and then into my leg that already had the hole in it. So it's easy to just line everything up. And now I'm taking Gorilla Glue clear grip adhesive and just putting it around the bottom of my leg. And that way I know with the combination of the screw and the glue that this thing is not moving. I'm going to put something heavy in this and let it dry overnight. Next, we're going to be transforming these fryer baskets. I have 3 of them, so we're going to do all 3. 2 of them I put feet on, and the other one we're going to do something different to. I probably didn't pay any more than 25 cents for these. You can usually find them very cheap at garage sales and thrift stores. So I'm going to cut them right where I showed y'all on each side. Like I said, I find a natural place in the spindle where I can make all the legs the same size easily, and then I'm gonna cut this one right down the middle. I'm just gonna eyeball it, but since it goes up higher in the middle, it's pretty easy to find. To attach the feet, we're going to do basically the same process we just did. I'm going to drill a hole in the middle of the feet, and then I'm going to take my star screw and attach it to the fryer basket. Luckily, these fryer baskets already have like little dots, 3 dots, so I'm just going to go with that and put my feet exactly where these dots are. I'm also going to add glue. I know there's holes, but I'm just going to wipe off the excess. I just feel better with a combination of a screw and the glue to keep them in place. And I'm just going to do this for these 2 baskets, and then later on we'll do something different with the other one. These were fryer baskets, so they do have some stains on them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray them with a coat of Rust-Oleum Clear Matte Sealer. Pretty much any paint issues you have can be solved by putting some sealer on it first. Then I'm going to spray them using my paint sprayer. I have about 3/4 chalk paint in here and then 1/4 water. I do not clean it. All I do is clean off the tip before I use it. This would be really hard to paint by hand and very time consuming. So having a paint sprayer makes very quick work of detailed items like this. For the basket that I did not put feet on, I'm going to take 3 pieces of jute twine and put it around the holes that are already in the basket, and then bring the rope together at the top and tie it to make a hanging basket. I love how these 3 baskets came out, and I actually ended up keeping all 3 for myself. So how you see them styled in the end is actually where I put them in my outside kitchen. I did distress these using sandpaper and a wet rag. I thought I filmed it, but apparently I did not. But y'all know how to distress a piece. Let me know what y'all think about the transformation of these very basic fryer baskets. For this next project, we're going to be using this basic little baking pan that I recently thrifted for $1. They are usually so easy to find at garage sales and thrift stores. I picked this one up specifically to use for this video. I have put feet on just regular baking pans before, and they have sold very well for me. So I'm just cutting up the spindle that I decided to use for this piece, and I want the bottom part to be a little bit longer, so I'm just using the previous pieces that I cut up to use as my guide on where to cut it, so that way they're all the same size. We're going to do a little experiment with this pan. Previously, I used screws to attach my feet to these pans, but since the pans are so shallow, you can see the screws. So I decided to just use the Gorilla Glue Clear Grip Adhesive, and I'm going to let it dry overnight, and then tomorrow we're going to drop it and see what happens. And if the feet do not fall off, then I'm going to call this a win, and I'm no longer going to use a screw for these shallow pans, which I think will look so much better. So I'm just going to turn it over, and I'm put some books on it and let it dry overnight, and let's see what happens tomorrow. It's been 24 hours. Let's drop this baby and see what happens. Oh, it landed on his feet like a cat. Let's do it on the side. Oh, it hit the feet that time, and they did not fall off. I'm going to call this a win. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Yes, it worked. Now I'm going to spray it white using my paint sprayer. I did put a coat of sealer on it because it is a used kitchen item, so that would take care of any grease or stains that were possibly on the pan. Then I'm going to distress it using just a light grit sandpaper and a wet rag, and I think this turned out so cute. This just shows you how just such a basic everyday item looks like an amazing piece of decor when you put feet on it. For this next project, we're just going to be using this big chunk of wood that a contractor gave me. He dropped off a bunch of his scrap material. So this is great if you can get scraps for free, more profit, and the price of wood, as y'all know, is skyrocketing. This is my favorite spindle to use for feet. It comes off of a crib, and it's just really easy to be able to get all the feet the same size. You're just going to cut it where there's a natural break in the spindle. Now we're going to sand our wood. I'm using a very high grit sandpaper, an 80, and I just want to round out the edges so they're not so rough. So I'm just going to take my sander and go back and forth to round out all of the sides of this huge block of wood. After sanded, it's ready to be painted, and I'm just using this ready-to-use antique white paint from Walmart in a flat finish. I'm going to put 2 coats on this piece. And I think I might have forgot to mention this, but all of the trays except for I think the enamel one, I do put a coat of the Rust-Oleum sealer over it once I'm finished with it. To attach these feet to the block of wood, I'm going to be using wood glue. If you don't have wood glue, you could also use the Gorilla Glue for this, but since both my pieces are wood, I decided to use wood glue, and I like to put the wood glue and then let my feet sit and dry for about 10 minutes, and then I come back with my nail gun and my 2-inch nails and nail it into place. And the reason I let it dry is because if I try to nail it right away, the glue would make the feet move all over the place. So this ensures that they are just staying in place when I go to nail it in. I felt like this piece needed something else since it had such a big surface area in the front. So I decided to add a grain stack stripe. And this is how I do my grain stack stripe. I find the center and put a piece of tape there. Then I put a piece of tape on each side of my center tape, and then I remove the center tape. And to me, this is the easiest way. And apparently I did not film me painting this first stripe, but I decided to go with a very light beige color. We're not going to get too crazy here and start doing all kind of colors on this channel. So I went with a light beige, and now I'm going to do my 2 other stripes. So I'm going to put 2 pieces of tape down the center again, and then leave a small space on each side and put another piece of tape to be able to paint 2 more stripes on the side of the center stripe. I'm just putting one very light coat of paint on here. That way it looks distressed without me having to distress it, and I'll pull off the paint as soon as I am done painting the piece. This is the last project of this video, and we're going to do something a little bit more masculine, a little bit more industrial. Do y'all remember when I thrifted these boxes? They are so cool, and I think I paid $4 a piece for them. I have 4 of them. You see how it has a little bit of an angle? I want to cut that straight, and then I'm going to cut it right there. So I'm going to cut that angle off. You see how it's straight now? and then I'm gonna cut the other piece. And these are the little legs that I will be using for this box. Like I said, I want to keep this piece masculine, and the wood on these feet do not match, so I'm gonna use some watered down black paint. Now you can go and order hairpin legs and attach that to here, but so can everybody else. And I think what makes these projects different is I'm using found items and putting them together instead of using store-bought stuff that anybody can go out and buy. This piece did have a lot of rust on it, so I put 2 very nice coats of the Rust-Oleum clear matte just to seal in all the rust on it. And now I'm going to put the holes in the middle of my feet just like I did on the other projects, and then we're going to attach these feet to the metal. Now to get the hole in the same place, since this one is square and I don't have to eyeball it, I drilled 1 hole where I wanted it to be, and now I'm just using an index card as a template to put all the other holes in the box. The box is metal, and I used a regular drill bit, and it actually was easier to drill through this this metal box than it was the enamel pan. It's been a minute since I showed y'all this tool that's not really a tool, but it's like one of the most amazing things to have in my workshop. It's the Ryobi blower, and it just keeps my surface area and my work area so clean. When you're drilling stuff and you have like little paint chips and little wood chips everywhere, it just keeps everything clean. If you do not have one of these, I highly recommend it. Okay, now I'm going to attach my feet the same way as I attached the other one. I'm going to put a screw through the metal, and then I'm going to attach the wood feet to it and use my Gorilla Glue to then just make sure it has a very tight bond. You want to let it dry for 24 hours. And I think this turned out so cute. This would be great in a little boy's room, in a man cave. I just love the masculine, more industrial look of it. All right, guys, I know this is going to be a hard decision. I told y'all you add feet to stuff and it's adorable, but you know what I'm about to say. Leave a comment below and let me know what was your favorite. If these are the kind of videos you love, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I do thrift flips every single week along with thrift store shopping, maybe a little bit of home decor and decorating. I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I will see y'all in the next video.
Thanks for watching, and give this video a big